If your webinar ads suddenly become far more expensive, the worst assumption you can make right now is that your funnel has stopped working. Over the last few months, I've been noticing the same conversation appear again and again on online marketing groups where thousands of advertisers are comparing notes about what is happening inside their ad accounts right now and with their client accounts. Like someone will post a screenshot and say something like, "Has anyone else seen their webinar leads suddenly triple in price?" And then a few more people reply saying the same thing happened to them or for their clients. And then very quickly, the conversation moves in a predictable direction. People start suggesting changes inside the funnel. Things like rewrite the webinar, adjust the follow-up emails, change the landing page, test a different hook. No one's actually looking at these things though. But before long, the assumption becomes that something inside the funnel must have stopped working. It's an assumption though. I want to share something else with you though. When Meta first announced the Andromeda update last September, me and Dan spent quite a bit of time studying about what the change would likely mean for our own ad accounts and for our clients' accounts. Because whenever a platform changes how its system learns, it's almost always going to change how campaigns behave. And then one thing became clear very, very quickly. Meta was moving even further towards behavior-based optimization, which is brilliant for us. It means that system now pays far more attention to what people actually do, which is what we wanted. That it's looking at what they watch, what they engage in, and how they interact with content, not just the audience targeting advertisers choose. So when those conversations started appearing in those marketing groups a few months later about webinar leads suddenly becoming more expensive, the pattern actually made much more sense to me. A lot of campaigns that previously worked well were suddenly feeding the algorithm weaker behavioural signals. And of course, the result was predictable. Lead costs increased for those people. Conversion campaigns slowed down for them because the drop in performance appeared at the ad level, and then many businesses assumed the problem must be inside the funnel. So instead of looking at the whole thing, they started rebuilding things. Stuff like brand new webinar slides, new landing pages, new offers. But in so many cases, the funnel itself was actually still perfectly capable of converting. And what changed was simply the information that the online system was using to identify the right people now. Now, once that signal does improve, performance usually stabilizes again pretty quickly, to be honest. Which is why when people ask for help diagnosing their campaigns in those communities, the conversation often ends up focusing less on rebuilding funnels and more about how the campaigns themselves are actually structured. Now, if you are currently running webinar ads and the performance suddenly not dropped suddenly, but dropped over the last few months, there is actually a really short campaign audit that I often suggest people run in these instances. And it really is just 3 quick questions about how their campaigns are set up, and it usually reveals very quickly where performance is being lost. Now, if you want that document, just comment doc below. I'm happy to share that with people. It takes about 10 minutes just to go through and should give you a much clearer picture of what's actually happening inside your campaigns, which will stop you going and changing something that might be working.